Okay, cool. We have lots of people coming in. Yay. I was on a client call this morning and she was saying how she's going to go sit by the pool today. And I said, it's -8 here. And we have about 1.5 feet of snow. So think of me when you're when you're laying by the pool. I am in North Dakota, so we got hit by a blizzard a couple of days ago, which is so strange. We never get hit this early in the season. So I think it's here to stay now for the rest of the fall and for the winter. I said it's only going to accumulate from here. Okay, so let's see who is all here. I know we have unique faces and we have familiar faces here. We have Angelica and Sherry and Eunice, Eve, Fiona, Penny. Awesome. I'm excited to see everybody come in. I told everyone when they registered that there's no replay for this. I'm not sending out a replay. So please make this a priority because this is like a get together I wanted to have. I don't have slides. I don't have anything fancy. It's just something that I want to talk to you all about because the 3 levels of coaching is huge. And we're going to talk about the levels that you're in, how to get out of it and into the next one. But before that starts, I want you to just like be open to what I'm going to share with you. You can take notes, you can do all those things. I think Zoom will give you a recording. I'm just not going to actively give you a recording. So you can go back and listen to this, but gosh, this is something that I wish I would have had years ago when I first started. And I think it's going to be a good reminder to you as you grow your business. So the reason why I decided to do the 3 levels of coaching is I see a lot of coaches who are just feeling stuck. I mean, one of the most common words used when students come in or clients come in and they're wanting to work with me is they're saying they feel stuck. They're saying that they feel like they're on the hamster wheel, right? So if you want to engage in the chat, I think my chat is working. Sometimes it doesn't work. Let me know if that's how you're feeling, like you're feeling stuck. You're on the movie Groundhog Day, like every day is the same. And when are you going to get your next big break, right? Gosh, we're always wondering that. Why is this not happening for me? So you go to the point where you feel inspired, and then you are wondering, am I doing something wrong? And then you're confused, and then you doubt everything. And then should I scrap everything? Should I burn my business to the ground? Should I just leave? What should I do? And there's so many choices we have to make, but there's always something that's pulling you back here. Like I know there are faces in here that I know you guys have hit the pause button on your business. And I know you jump back in. And I see coaches who are constantly jumping in, shutting it off, jumping in, shutting it off. I see that. I know that is a pattern. And so I was like, why does that keep happening? Why does that keep happening? Is it because your payment's going to come through for your program? Is it because your payment's going to come through for your coach? And you're like, gosh, I'm still not where I want to be. I'm done. Like there's so many things, there's so many standards that we hold ourselves to that in the bird's eye view is kind of ridiculous, right? So that's why I'm here, because I've been there, you guys. I know what you're feeling like. So I want to set like the flavor for this training. I want to set it because I want you to experience something different. I don't want this to be like an hour you spend with me and you're like, huh, that was nice. And then you go on with your day. I don't want that to happen. I want this to have like a 2023 January 1st kind of vibe. I want you to feel that now. If you've ever gone through maybe like a weight loss thing or something where you're like, I'll do it on Monday, I'll do it in January. We do that with our business too. I don't want that to happen for you. This season is actually a really good time for you to bring in clients, especially if you have packaging that, they work with you for the next 12 months or long-term packaging. It's a really great time to bring in people because people are thinking of, I don't want to wait until January. I want to get started now. Okay. And I think that's why you guys are here too. You don't want to wait. Like, let's do this, right? So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat, any kind of reaction. aha moment, whatever it is, I will peek in there from time to time, but I get distracted really easily. So I'm going to stay away until I see some bigger numbers in there. So if you are just like me and you are a listener and you want to just sit back and maybe you're multitasking, go for it. I'm not going to be showing anything that you need to see anyway, so you can go ahead and listen. That's kind of my favorite way to learn. I like to multitask, right? We're really good at that. I also want you to be really curious. Curiosity is such a spark for moving forward. When we're not curious about what's next for us, it's like we don't even care. So we stay in our warm, comfy beds. We're like, I don't care what's out there. I'm just going to stay here because it's cozy. But you know the feeling of when you stay in bed too long, if that's ever happened for you, maybe it's been years since that's ever happened, and you just feel like achy and you're like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. Like, I can't lay here anymore. You ever feel that way? Maybe that's how you're feeling in your business. Like, I've been comfortable for much too long. Does that resonate with you? You've been comfortable much too long and you're starting to feel some growing pains, right? So embrace the growing pains. Those are good. That's a good sign. I did a post yesterday of signs that you're in the middle of an up level. And one of the things is embracing those growing pains, because you're never going to say, that's the last time I'll ever experience that. You're always going to be up leveling. So staying curious is going to make you feel confident to move forward, because you're like, what is that? Right? What is it? I want to know. If you guys could come to North Dakota and come to my house and just see, like, what is it like? Like, that's what you want, right? You see coaches online, you're like, what does her day look like? What does she really do? Like, what's the secret? There's no secret. So curiosity brings confidence. I love being curious. I just want to know, like, I'm the most curious person ever. I have to know the answers to everything. So many times I'm grabbing my phone and asking questions about things that no one cares about, but I need to know the answer to, right? With this kind of like the brains that we have. And then clarity. When you are curious and you're confident to ask the questions and you want to know, like, what is this? It becomes clear to you what's ahead. And we need that. We need to be curious. We need to peak. We need to move. Okay. You're not going to just, okay, finally you hit the level and now you're done. That's not how this works. I say this over and over again. We're in a really weird space. Do you realize how strange we are? Do you realize that we are on a Zoom call on a Saturday morning talking about things and learning while most people are not doing this? Sometimes you think that this world is so big, the coaching world, but it's not. We're strange little creatures. We're hungry for information. We want to know, like, help me get to the next level. Tell me what to do. Tell me how to feel. Tell me how to be. Tell me how to act, right? I love this world because there's no right or wrong of how to do this. There's no black or white. It's like the key to it all is just feeling curious, inspired, getting clarity, and moving. That's all it is. So when I first started my coaching business, I was a health coach. I started in 2010, I suppose. My son is 13 now. He was 1. And I was like, I need to lose some weight here, because I don't like the way I feel and the way I look, and I need to do something about it. So I took control, and I lost 90 pounds over a really decent amount of time. It was like under a year. And then everyone started to ask me, how did you do that around town? This is like when Facebook first started for me anyway. And I was like, well, I just did this and this. And then people were like, well, can you help me? And so I was like, yeah, but if I'm going to help people, I want to have more information. I need to know, like, there's so many ways to lose weight, right? There's so many ways. There's more underlying things there. So I got all the certifications. I studied. I remember buying, $50 programs to help me get this certification and that. I was working with people at my house. There was ladies in my hometown who would come over and sit at the dinner table with me, and we would create a plan that worked for them. And I loved it. Like, I always wanted to be a nurse or a teacher. I always wanted to help people. Give me a problem and I will solve it. Like, I will figure it out. Watch me, right? So I'm going to help everybody in the whole world feel good. That was my thing. I love solving problems. It makes me so happy. If I can't find a problem, I'll find one. So I did that for quite a while. And then I took the business online because I was like, well, there's a way bigger world than you guys. I live in a town of 800 people. And so I decided to take it online. And then I got pregnant with my second, who is 8 now. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I shut it off. Like, I did what you guys might have done too. And you might have done multiple times. I just shut it off. Like, Instagram was just starting and I'm like, done. I'm just going to focus on this little girl that's coming into my life, which is totally the best reason ever. Right. So I did. And then, you get, your babies get older and you're like, gosh, I miss that Instagram stuff. And I miss planning things and helping people. And I actually remember the first moment when I got that spark again. I was in a waiting room. We were at a doctor's office visit for Maddox. And I was like, it was taking forever. And I have zero patience. And the only app I really had on my phone was the weather. And I was like, well, how often can I check the weather in the news? I'm going to download Instagram again. I couldn't even remember my username and password. So I just created a new account. And I was like, gosh, this is so fun again. I was seeing like these health coaches do all the stuff. And I just really wanted to be in that world again. So I made the decision, I'm going to reignite my health coaching business when I got home. Thought about it all the way home on the hour drive. What can I do to make this different? And so I started my health coaching business again. No one cared, but I did it again. And I wanted it to be online. I wanted to have an online business. Like, there's ways you can actually accept payments online on the internet. And I can do that. I can set that up. I know how to do all that stuff. And so I signed up for a course, and it was $200 on how to get your health coaching business going. Like, she was going to help me get my website going, like all the stuff. And I finished the 30-day curriculum in like a couple of weeks because I was so excited to do this. And this coach, mind you, now is like a multi-million-dollar coach. Her name is Amanda Trust, if you've ever heard of her. And this was like back in the day, like Periscope days and little Facebook group programs. And like, it just kind of dates you, but it's so fun to look back at. And then I started learning like the business side from her because she had other coaches, other arms in the program, and I fell in love with it. And I scrapped the health coaching and I went into business coaching. So this is how long I've been doing this. You guys probably have heard my story before, but I think it's important to tell my story for the millionth time, because it sets the context of this isn't a 90-day thing. Right? This isn't a year thing. This takes a long time. So now I've gone from, celebrating, starting things to getting to where I am, multi-six-figure business owner in a small town, working a 9-to-5 and homeschooling my 3 kids. I don't have a team. I have my mom who does Pinterest for me. So if you are following the people who are doing the big team stuff, the huge stuff, like, you don't have to do that to get to that point. I think that's important for you to know. So the context is important. I've always stayed curious. I've always been confident in my dream, and I've always sought clarity, because I've always, you run into moments where you're like, what the heck is going on? I feel like everything's foggy. I feel like I'm in a plateau. What's happening? Right? So I did it alone for years, but I've always gotten help when I thought I needed it. So that first coach was Amanda. And then I got another coach a couple of months into the business coaching world, and she helped me kind of set everything up. And then I flew after that. I'm looking at my notes, but then this is when the levels start coming in. I want to scroll through. So you're inspired. You're inspired. You're listening to podcasts, you're downloading everything, you're going to webinars, and there's certain people in this space, and maybe I'm one of them, that inspires you, right? Sorry for the puppy barking. There's certain people, like, you just gravitate towards them. And the big thing is you just feel called to do more. You just, like, there's something. You can't quite say why you're here, but I know that I'm here to do more. So you're stalking coaches online. You can't stop thinking about your business. Like, you have notebooks wherever you go. You're always brainstorming. You're coming up with all these ideas. You're always feeling inspired. And this is a great stage to be in, but I don't want you to stay in it for very long. It's dangerous to stay in the stage for very long, because no one is going to work with you because you're inspiring. That's not quite why. People will attend your webinars and download your stuff. But if you're just like, oh, she inspires me, well, there's got to be more juice to it. So I want you to get out of that level. How do you get out of the I'm inspired, I'm in the dreamy state? You're always going to carry a piece of that with you, but you have to move. You have to take action. And you have to learn what to do next. Like, you have your website up, you're showing up. What do you do next? You got to make sure you have the groundwork laid out. I know a lot of you have your website, you're posting on social media, you have the basics up, right? You're doing it. You have your email. Those are like the key things that you really need. You don't need any other bells and whistles. There's no other thing that's missing. But what I do see, the problem with this is there's two things. You're either spreading yourself too thin. You're trying to be the go-to person on Facebook. You're trying to be the go-to person on Instagram. And you're going, heavy on TikTok or Pinterest. Like, you're spreading it all. It's too thin. You're launching a podcast. You're trying to do everything you see someone who's been doing for years. You're trying to do what she's doing. And it doesn't really work for very long, does it? Right? Like, you ever feel like you're spreading yourself too thin? I know when I'm spreading myself too thin and I hit rock bottom. Like, Lindsay, stop it. You guys probably listened to my podcast episode a couple of months ago or a month ago. I don't even know, things that were not making me happy in my business anymore. And it was the cause and the effect of me spreading myself too thin. Okay. So again, you're trying to do things that someone who's been doing this for 5-10 years is doing, and you're trying to emulate, you're trying to copy that. And so you're like, how does she even do this? It's because it's the time, which is the second problem. You're not giving yourself enough time. Worst advice ever, right? Like, just give it time. I don't want to hear that. I don't have time. I have 24 hours, you have 24 hours, but we all have different things. We all have different things on our plates, right? You might be taking care of family, older family members, younger family members. You have 2 jobs. You have a lot going on, right? And when people say that, you're like, you don't know what my life is like. But yet, if we're honest with ourselves, how long are you staying in the inspired phase of your business? Like, are you inspired 8 hours a day? Are you scrolling an hour a day? Like, what's your screen time look like? Are you doing things that are pushing your business forward, or are you like still working on it? Like, how long are you going to be working on this before you throw out something that could be the thing? How long are you going to stay comfortable? How long are you going to stay in your cozy warm bed and get mad because you're not seeing results? You have to like go outside and do stuff. You want an online business, but you don't want anything to do with putting an online business out there. That doesn't make sense. Just because you have a website doesn't mean you're going to bring people to your website. That takes a long time. So what can you do? What can you do to take action? Look at everything that you're doing. Like, give yourself an audit. It might be embarrassing. It might be like, maybe I don't need to spend 2 hours a day scrolling on Instagram. I see people come onto my story immediately when I post something, like, who's on Instagram that much? Why, yeah, Instagram is fun to be on. But are you doing things in your own business that's helping you sell something? Are you talking about your one-on-one packages? If that's all that you have up on your site, are you talking about it? Are you talking about not the bells and whistles of your package, but what happens when somebody takes action with you? No one's talking about that. Like, I see this all the time and it drives me nuts. They're screenshotting things from their packaging and they're like, a 10 Instagram story series of working with me is the right thing to do if you want this, and if you want all this stuff. Like, no one's going to do that from an Instagram story. What people want is, I want to know that you can give me something. You have to train your people to watch you because they really want what you have. Like, we're a jealous society. We want what you have. So your lifestyle, screenshots from your website aren't going to build your business. What's going to build your business is you showing people that you have what they want, desire. That's why people buy, right? They desire. If I share, I have, for example, my last client that signed up with me, she wants a business and she sees my business. I talk about my business. She's a mother. She knows that I have 3 kids. She has 1. If I can do it, she can do it. We talk about our life. Okay, so the piece of you just showing up on Instagram, sharing a post that you created and then calling it good, if that's not working for you, what can you do differently? What can you do differently? Instead of spreading yourself so thin, what about choosing one platform? Like, okay, I'm going to pick Instagram because I'm on it all the dang time anyway, and I'm going to make this work for me. How can you make it work for you? Like, get creative and look at it in a different way. And this could be Facebook, this could be whatever it is. But if you're spending all that time on one certain app, how can you make it work for your business? If you got the basics and everything set up, how can you show up in a different way that make people, I need to see what she's doing. What is she up to now? How can you make that happen for your people that are watching you? And then pretty soon, they can't stop watching you. And then they want, like, oh, when is that story circle going to light up? Because I want to see what she's doing. Because I want what she has. And if you're thinking, well, I don't have anything that people want, then improve yourself. Be better. You don't have to have a fancy house and a fancy office and you don't have to be fancy. I'm not fancy. And that's why people look at what I do, because they're like, she's not fancy. She's just a mom doing what she wants to do. And that's what I need to do. I need to give myself permission to do what I want to do. Right? Okay. Basics are set up. You're showing up. You're doing all the things. You're bringing inspired with you into the next phase where you're building, and everything is starting to come together. You have a good flow. You know what you're doing. You get to your computer. You feel comfortable working with your tools. You know what you're doing. Like, you could give a tour of what you do every day and you'd be like, this is what I do. This is why. Here's how. Right? Like, you stay in that phase. You're building a program. You got your one-on-one packages up. Now, how do you move up to the next level of scaling? Because this is the one that people stay in forever, building. What happens when you stay in the building phase forever? You look for another program to buy. You look for another software to add to your toolbox. You look for more things to do. You look for, okay, maybe I need to maybe I need to do this with my business. But really, like, you're making money in your business and it's accumulating nicely. You're getting somewhere. So you just keep like learning new things. And that's good. You should always be learning new things. But then what happens is you're buying programs that you're like, I know this already. And then you start to have a fear of, if I buy another program, I'm just gonna learn something I already know. I just had a conversation yesterday. She bought a program. She's like, this is like everything that you already taught me. That I hate that feeling. And then you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to keep investing in my business. You know, I have all the software that I need. I don't need anything else. I don't want to learn anything else. What do I do? Because if you look at, you know, your actual how you handle your money, you need to have some expenses in your business, right? So you're like, well, what do? I don't want to run ads. I don't know I don't know how to invest in myself. You have a really good rhythm and you're like, what do I do next? So what happens is you fall into a dangerous thing of comparing yourself to everyone else that you think where you should be and you're not. And you're like, well, she's doing this and she's doing this. And when you sit and have a heart to heart with yourself, you're like, that's not really what I want. And you just feel confused. And you're like, what should I do? And you go back to should I burn my business to the ground and start over? Because this program promises this, and that's what I want. And you could do that. I've joined programs where I'm like going only off of the financial investment. Like, okay, well, last time I bought a program that was $5,000. Then I did a $10,000, $12,000. Okay, now I'm learning everything I already know. And I know that doesn't work for me. That's so frustrating. And you're like, am I just here to like buy people's programs? Like, what's the point here? You got to really put your blinders up in this phase and stop looking off to the side of everyone else and wondering what they're doing and copying. This is the part where you really have to trust the whole journey to where you got to the whole journey that you've taken, and know that it was for a reason. Everything you've set up, you felt good about it initially. And then when it starts to feel humdrum, you're like, well, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. And you don't even give it a chance. So your job to get out of this level, out of the build level, is to embrace your unique message. Because this is when it starts to get really juicy online. Like you started to build up. I'm just going to use Instagram as an example. You when you are inspired and you're being yourself and you're excited about what's to come, you have to keep being that person. And sometimes you're like, I'm tired of being that person. I don't know how to be that person anymore because I feel stuck. So what can you do? You have to accept the fact that you're up leveling again. So how do you get out of that? You're into the next level. Now you're into the scaling phase, the scale part of your business. That's going to be like scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, infinity. So you're inspired, you build, scale, never ending. Then you really need to give yourself an audit. How are you spending your time? Honestly. Okay. One thing that I really had to do, and you might have noticed if you pay attention to anything that I do, maybe you do, maybe you don't, is I really had to rein in the boundaries big time. So honoring your time doesn't always equal charging more. Sometimes, when you feel like I need to raise my prices on my coaching packages. I just need to. I feel like I need to. And then sometimes you're like, well, no, I don't feel like I need to do that. So how else do you honor your time? What I did, I'm going to give you some hardcore examples. What I did was I changed the amount of time that I spend on client calls. So my new packages are no longer 45-minute calls, they are 30 minutes. I can bring on a couple more clients if I take them down to 30. Price is the same, the call time is different. That felt amazing to do. I was starting to feel like, okay, a year client coming in, 45-minute calls booked. Okay. When you start feeling like, oh boy, that's when you need to change. Even when you feel like you're getting to the point of the oh boy, change it. Because then you're going to start resenting the whole foundation of your business, client work. Like, you don't want to get anxious because you booked a client. You want to be happy and grateful, right? Don't let yourself get to that point. So audit how you're spending your time. Look at your calendar. How does it make you feel? When I looked at my calendar last year and I saw all the podcast interviews that were coming onto my show, it almost gave me an anxiety attack, because I was like, oh my gosh, those are hour-long calls that I have to be on. I don't want to do that anymore, because I don't know why, I just don't. I was like, I want to be with my kids in the afternoons homeschooling, and I don't want to rush our time together because I have an interview for someone to be on my show. I don't want to do that anymore. So I X'd them off. Will that be forever? No. But those things that are making you feel heavy, why are they making you feel heavy? It might not be because of the price. It might be because of the time that it takes you away from what's really important to you. Like for me, it's my family. So I had to look at my entire week. The only times that I wanted to work on clients is Thursdays and Saturdays. That's all that I can. Because I know on Thursdays, homeschool is pretty short. We're wrapping up the week. I don't feel rushed. I can come back up to my office at 3 and get on client calls. Not a problem. No big deal. Any other time of the week, no, I'm not going to. And Saturday mornings, everyone's doing their own thing. I can come here and spend time with my clients. I can do a live class easy. That was such a weight off my shoulders doing that. And you don't have to make it a big deal. Like, everyone, I'm changing just change it. Another thing that I did to tighten up my boundaries so I could scale, because when you think about the definition of scaling your business, it's not just with money, it's with time. Because when you are in front of your screen, there's a ticker. This is costing this much for me to be here. Right? Okay, so how else can you scale? You scale with time. How often are you on your client calls? How often are you in Voxer? How do you feel when you hear the Voxer? All of that. I had to set boundaries for Voxer. It was not my client's fault. It was mine, because the notifications on my phone were like, whoa, 11 Voxer notifications. And all of them are 5 minutes long. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is like a client call. And I love when my clients Voxer me. I love that. But I had to rein in the boundaries that I was putting on myself. So Lindsay, you need a day where there's no Voxer. What is the craziest day of the week for you and the family? Wednesdays. No Voxer on Wednesdays, because I have enough going on Wednesdays. Awesome. No Voxer. You need some hours. Set some hours. Okay. Here are my Voxer hours. I put them on a PDF, put them in Asana for my clients to see, and they're like, okay, awesome. And I was kind of scared to do it. It's like, I don't want people to get mad at me. I don't want them to think that I'm not there for them, because I am. But what it does is it helps, it sets a precedent. It sets an example of, you don't need to be so present for your clients either. Just because you hear that doesn't mean that you should go and answer it. Shut off the notifications. Take off the badges off your phone. Only check Voxer on desktop. What do you have to do to rein it in? And make sure that you're set up for that. If you all of a sudden had 100 students come in today and 5 pay in full clients, are you set up to handle that? And if you're like, heck no, I am not, do it now. Trust me, you will thank me later. Okay, so scaling with time. Another thing is group programs, digital products, memberships, all of that stuff. That stuff allows you to scale. So I had to pull myself out of my group program, which was turning into more of a mastermind. I didn't want that to take away the time that I needed to spend with my clients because my client calendar was full. As I rearranged how I was going to work with people, so I had to make changes in my group program because that was holding me back from scaling. And I didn't want that to happen because then I can't be the best Lindsay for my family. Like that's way more important than any client. Then I certainly can't be the best Lindsay for my clients and my students and people who are just reaching out. So setting those boundaries within your programs, maybe you need to pull yourself away a little bit. And it's okay. It's okay. And then looking at, okay, how can I scale my business? How is it going to be easier for me? And again, not looking at what other people are doing. How does it look for you? So being innovative and having the system that you built to support you as you're coming up with new ways to scale, that's when you lean in. Like, okay, I have 1,000 ideas. How can I make this feel good for me? What can I do with these ideas? Or I have a program. How can I show up differently so my students see that I'm honoring my boundaries, yet I'm still being helpful to them? How can you create different containers in your business that aren't going to require you to be on screen, on call all the time? As you grow your coaching business, this will be more important to you than ever. Is how can I scale my time? I've been in the trenches of back-to-back client calls, back to back to back, going from this to that to this to that, and dropping in bed because I am exhausted. And I thought this is what it is. No, it's not. I wasn't scaling with my time. I couldn't even see that was even a possibility because I didn't stay curious. I didn't watch what coaches ahead of me were doing. I watched my calendar. So there's so much out there. And the danger, there's so much danger, right? The dangerous part of running a coaching business is not associating with somebody who is 10 steps ahead of you, because then you don't know. And when you don't know, you're not curious because you're like, I don't know what else is out there. I don't know. I'll just stay where I am. And then that means that you're going to stay where you are. You're not making any changes. And then you're like, you hit the wall and you don't even know that there's anything on the other side. So when I ran into that spot and I decided I don't need group programs anymore, I don't have any questions. What do? I have to surround myself with people who are doing things that are like, what? I didn't even know that was possible. And it's like opening, it's like, okay, the Wizard of Oz, Philo to sew into the Wizard of Oz. It's like you are living in the black and white. And then all of a sudden you open the door and it's like, oh my gosh, I did not even know this was here. And then all of a sudden, like the sparks are reignited and you're like, I just watch me move. Just get out of my way. I have things to do. That is what the scale phase is like. You're like, there's no end to this. There's so much beauty in this. And I didn't even know it existed because I was so stuck in my own little world. I didn't even know. And that could be you working with somebody on a one-on-one basis, or it could be you joining something where there's people who are doing bigger things than you even thought possible, like in a mastermind. That's what happened. That's what happened to me. Because I was like, what is next? I don't want to do another thing. I want to use what I got to my full potential. How do I do that? I became a part of something that I saw other people using their full potential and sharing what that was doing to their lives. And I was like, oh, got it. Going to do that too. That is so freeing. It's so freeing to like, like if you've ever bought something online, a program or whatever it is, that feeling of like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so amazing for me. Like being in the room with people like who are doing just crazy stuff. That's what it's all about. And then keeping yourself in that. And there's people who need just one person to do that. That's why you have a coach, a mentor. And there's people who are like, I thrive in a group setting and that's what I need. It's just about always surrounding yourself, being at the table with people who are just like, that's what scaling is. Being at the table with people who are telling stories that you're like, what? That's how I want to live my coaching life. Okay. All right. Now, I have some treats for you. I told my husband this morning, he's like, what are you doing? I said, I just had another really good idea and I'm creating the page for it because I have like all these treats that I want to share with everybody. He's like, so I have three treats. So you might have heard about my first one. I've emailed everybody about it. I've been talking about it on my stories. My first treat is the Upgrade Now bundle. So this is all like for my Black Friday 3 surprise theme, okay? The Upgrade Now bundle is a 15-minute coaching session with me. That same day, we will spend as much time as you want in Boxer. I will answer your questions. I will mentor you, whatever you want me to do. That will be our Boxer day. And you also get 3 of my paid classes that came out last month or the month before. Those are $97 classes. You get all of those. The Upgrade Now bundle is going up in price. It's doubling and then tripling. So right now you can get it right now for $97. If you want the link for this stuff, just send me a DM on Instagram. I will send it to you. Okay, that's the Upgrade Now. A 15-minute coaching session with me, Boxer, all dang day, and those 3 classes, okay? So you're going to get that. That's the Upgrade bundle. That's that. Just send me a DM if you have questions. I'm going to throw a lot of treats at you now. The second treat, I just released it last night. It's the Your 100K Roadmap. This is a workbook that you can pre-order. Who the heck thought of pre-ordering a workbook? I did. I've never seen anybody do that. We already have sales coming in for the 100K Roadmap. And this is basically what it is. Your roadmap to hitting a 100K in your business. I'm also going to dig into how to get to the 1K, the 5K, the 10K, all of the fun numbers. Okay, that's all coming to you. $5. Why is this $5? I have no idea. It's $5. If you want that link, send me a DM on Instagram. I will give it to you. Actually, it's on my story, so you can just go buy it there. The last treat that I wanted to share, I just created it this morning. See how fun this is? When you embrace the scale phase, you can just come up with ideas and throw them out there. And like, it's amazing what happens. And I want to be that inspiration for you. I am such a random person and this gives me such a creative outlet. So the third treat is reignite the spark. This is something you want to do now and not wait until January to do in your business, okay? It is $27 right now, and it's going to be how to get out of a rut, how to get off the hamster wheel in your business, and start working with what you have. This is inspired by a conversation I had this morning with a client. She's like, Lindsay, I don't want the launch lifestyle anymore. I want to work with what I have. I have so much. And I said, okay, here's what we need to do. And this is the action that we're going to take. Okay. And I want to do that with you. Reignite the spark. That is $27 right now. Everything is going to triple in price by the time Black Friday hits. So if you're like, need to think about stuff for 2 weeks, don't, because I have, it's all so simple for you. Okay, $27 for the Reignite the Spark class. This might be a 1-day class. It might be something else. I don't know. It's pre-order. This is the life that I want to lead now. I'm going to come up with a way I can help you. You say yes, and I will deliver it to you. Okay, so Reignite the Spark, your 100K roadmap, $5. And then the other treat is the Upgrade Now, the coaching session with me, the boxer for the day, and the classes. So I have all kinds of price ranges for you. If you want all three, if you want Upgrade Now, the roadmap, and Reignite the Spark, let me know that you want the trio, and I will create a special bundle deal for you. You need to communicate with me on Instagram to get this stuff, because that's when I'll throw out the links. Unless I can put them on here now. If you want me to put them on there now, I can. Or you can just DM me on Instagram. It's a lot easier. Let's just do that. You want them? Come and get them. I will give you the links. Okay? That's just how we're going to do it. I know that the chat is disabled again. I don't know why, you guys. I have no idea. I have messed with the settings. I've done all the things. I have no idea why the chat is disabled. It's so annoying. Let's see. I don't know why it does it. I have no clue. So what I want you to do is send me a DM on Instagram, since I can't talk to you. I would love to talk to you, but I can't. Send me a DM on Instagram. Say you want the Upgrade Now, you want the 100K roadmap, or the Reignite the Spark class, or you want the bundle, and I will package something up for you. $5, $97, $27. There's something for everybody. Okay? Amazing. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me. This was so very lovely. I hope to see some of you guys in my new little treats that I have to throw out there. Remember, they are going to be tripling in price, so it's kind of a no-brainer if you just need some extra help, inspiration, pique your curiosity. This is the way to do it if it sounds right for you. I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, and I will see you on Instagram.